Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to remove this white part, and I'm going to pulverize it. To do this, I'm not so sure what this is made of, but pretty sure it's not going to be good for me. So I'm using my hefty duty respirator, and so I'm just going to do a voiceover if I need to. I won't be talking while I do this, but and then I have this kitchen knife that I saved. It was in my toolbox, so I'm pretty sure it's sharp and it's serrated. And look, there's a lifetime warranty. Oh, quick cut. Okay, so anyways, so we'll see how this works. And then I'm going to pulverize it using a baggie, and I probably like a rubber mallet, and then I'm gonna put it in there. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is what we ended up with. The rock, just with a flat edge, helped, I thought, was easier than trying to use a mallet. And I didn't make it perfectly powdery because I figured it's kind of like the grit. So I might practice by using some of this to patch it up over here. But it's, you know, you're gonna lose pieces of this bottom part. And like I had mentioned earlier, I don't think it's that big of a deal versus the gray thing. That gray ring is the most important factor because that's what creates the heat, retains the heat. This is just a barrier so that you don't melt your inside of your microwave. And it also allows you, if you wanted to, they use this also for, originally this was used for glass fusing. And to do glass, a lot of times they even put metal inside of here, like stainless steel for the forms. So this is that barrier that doesn't have the microwave penetrating the metal to create an explosion or sparks or whatever, fire inside your microwave. So that is what the purpose of the white is protect it. Use the same liquid that I did before, the sodium silicate, to repair the gray area of the kiln. And again, in case this is the first time you're watching these videos, you want to get the one that's at least 37% of this stuff, because this is what makes things heat resistant. And then I roughly powdered this white stuff. I'm not sure what it is, so therefore it's very dusty, and I highly recommend you use a good respirator when doing this because you don't want this stuff in your lungs. And what I'm going to use instead of a brush, I thought I would try something a little bit different so that I can get in these cracks, and I just took some cardboard and I'm going to like spackle it. Try that and see whether or not that'll help me get into the crevices more. Experimenting. So then I just have a square container, and I'm gonna pour the powder and the sodium silicate together and make it so that it's, you know, a texture that can be shoved into these cracks. Fix the cracks on the lid as well. Okay guys, well, I try to repair this bottom part using the sodium silicate and the white stuff. So remember this part, what was cracking? So I try to repair it, and if I got it too wet, which you kind of needed to do for it to stick, it kind of flakes off. Now I've done a lot of firings with this, so you know, I did a couple glaze firings, a few bisque firings, and so you know, it's gone through some stress. But today I went to Aardvark, which is a pottery supply store, and I got this mortar, and she said this is what they use to fix the inside of kilns and fire bricks. So I'm gonna try it on this and see how it works. And hopefully this will do a better job. I'm assuming I need to stir it up a little bit. Okay. And we'll see. I like the consistency. This is really easy to throw on here. And I'm just going to try it on this one. And if it works well, then I'll do the other things. But I have a feeling this will work, which is great. This is like frosting. I'll throw that away. So we'll see how this works. All right, so I did one glaze firing, and I did hear some cracking. So it did crack here, and I'm noticing some bubbling there, but this was a crevice, so maybe there's air or something trapped in here, but it's pretty hard. Still a little hot, but and then something's going on there, but overall I think it did a good job. I'm liking this stuff, so I'm gonna apply it when this cools down to these areas here and over here and see how it works. And I did not even have to let this dry overnight. It's hot. It was hot today. It was like in the 80s. Can you believe that? It's February. It's in the 80s. But anyhow, I went ahead and I preheated it. Oh, and there's a hairline crack here. Just want to point that out. But I preheated it, and just to make sure there wasn't any moisture in there. And it did pretty good. So maybe it wouldn't have cracked if I would have let it dry overnight. Who knows? But I'm going to patch it up again and fire away. Probably tomorrow or the next day. I thought I'd show you how I'm piping. I had some holes in here and over here. And so then I just put it in a baggie, and then I just snipped off the corner so I could just get a small, tiny amount, like so. So even though these probably don't need to be filled, I'll fill those in, these little gaps, just so you could see what it looks like. This stuff dries super duper duper fast. So keep the lid on, and work quickly. This is cooled down. So that's how I'm gonna fix these cracks. Not bad. And I was even able to get to these little crevice areas right here. I don't want to touch it with your bare fingers. I'm sure it's not something you want. And you should probably wear gloves. Alrighty. Just wanted to show you what I'm doing.